Okay, ladies, here is Rapunzel. She is ready to go. I have my half of my hand towel already looped in. I'm using tearaway. A lot of ladies have had success using the cutaway stabilizer instead. Your choice. I am using fleece for the face, fleece for the hair, and I'm using Heat Bond on the back. Like I said, you can use Heat Bond Light. You can use nothing. Other ladies have used Pellon interfacing. Pretty much it is your choice of what you want to do on the back of your fabric. Those are just 4 examples of what you can use. So she's already ready on my machine. The first step is her hair stitch out. So I actually put the face, that's the wrong color. So I'm going to grab my yellow fleece, which I already have my Heat Bond on the back. I'm going to peel it off, if it will come off. And yes, I heat bonded the back of fleece. I had no problem with it burning or anything like that with my iron. So my Heat Bond's on. We're going to stick her up inside of the machine on top of my hood. Now, some ladies have asked me, how do I get the hood so perfectly matched without putting a placement stitch? On my hoop, and there are probably on other people's hoops, there are these little marks that tell you your field of embroidery. So I just make sure to line up my towel on those lines, and I make sure that my design is all the way to the bottom of my embroidery field. So as long as my towel is lined up on those lines on both sides, and I have my design all the way to the bottom of the embroidery field, I'm good. So I'm going to stitch out her hair, and then I will be back in just a moment. Alright, so I finished stitching out her hair. It stitched around it twice, and I have trimmed it all out. The next step, of course, is her face. So again, we put the fleece down with over top of it and stitch it out, and then I will cut it and be back in just a moment. Alright, so it's stitched through her face twice, and I have trimmed it all off, and it is ready to go. The next step is going to be the satin stitch of her face and her ears. So it's going to do that, and her eyes, and her eyebrows, and then I will be back after it finishes doing that. So she just finished stitching out her face, her eyes, her eyebrows, and now it's getting ready to do her braid tack down, which is down right here. The tack down will go like all the other ones from right here, the edge of her ear, all the way out to the edge of the yellow. You want to cut your fabric 1.5 inches wide. So just like Elsa, just like Anna, you want to stick your fabric down in there, make sure it's not overlapping the satin stitches on this side, and make sure it's not overlapping on the other side. So you stick it in there, and it'll tack down twice. It does a placement stitch if you want to use the placement stitch, or you can just tack it in place twice. And then it's going to stitch around her hair and do the flowers in her hair, and then I'll be right back and show you how to braid it. Okay, so it just finished tacking down her braid in the place. And I actually want it a little wider down here past where it stitches, so I'm going to actually just diagonal it across to make it so that she has a thicker braid down below. Because in the movie, she has a really, really thick braid because she has so much hair. So now I'm just going to cut along this stitch line, get as close as I possibly can, so that when it does the satin stitching for the hair, which it's going to do next, it will satin stitch right across the braid to tack it in place. And then, like I said, I'll be doing the flowers next.